Hi friends and welcome back. So today we'll talk about this transformative power of saying yes to life. We will understand what it really means to live in each and every moment of our lives. How to accept life with all its challenges, with all its problems which it throws at us. And how to be happy at all times while going through this journey of life. So let me assure you that there is nobody in the world, not a single person who does not have challenges or who does not face problems. Sometimes we would feel by seeing or looking at somebody that his challenges are nothing compared to our own challenges. But for everyone, their challenges are the biggest obstacles. And to understand that, we have to understand that each and every one of us have our own unique journeys. And these journeys start right from when we are born. How we are born, where we are born, the kind of family we have, the kind of environment we have. And when we are also born with certain skill set, certain inclinations and certain desires. And these desires, these skill sets is what helps us in the entire journey of our life. And that journey teaches us certain lessons. And it's those lessons which we need to learn, for which we have come back to our lives. So if we deeply analyze our lives, then we will realize that we are all chasing happiness and we are trying to avoid pain and suffering. Some of us are chasing that happiness in things of this world, in that job, in that shining new car, in that house, in that status, or in that relationship. Yes, those things are very important for all of us and they do give us excitement, they do give us happiness, but it's only temporary. All these things, that car, that job, that house, they are simply physical objects and they do not have the capacity to give us happiness. It's a reaction to those things, to obtaining those things, what provides us temporary excitement. But happiness is really not in those things, it's actually a state of mind. And we can all learn to develop this state of mind once we accept life, once we embrace this life with all its situations, with all its challenges. And we can learn this ability and the will to be happy at all times. So many of us think, what is the true purpose of our coming to this world? What is the purpose of my existence? Really, very simply put, behind the words of the Bhagavad Gita, the true purpose of every person is that he should learn to be happy. Learn to be even-minded and cheerful in all circumstances. Learn to be at the center of his being, not get emotionally high or get emotionally low, but be at the center. That is the purpose. And that purpose can be learned very simply. And we can follow it very simply by simply learning how to be happy at all times. So, if we can find a swadharma. Now, swadharma is a difficult word, but it simply means we are all born with certain natural inclinations. We are equipped with certain skills and we have a passion for certain things. That's our swadharma. If we can realize that through introspection, what our swadharma is, really the journey of life becomes beautiful. It becomes simple because then every time you're performing an action, you are actually enjoying life. Let me share an example with you. Let's say swadharma of Sachin Tendulkar was and is to play cricket. So he was blessed with those skills and qualities of playing very good cricket, and also he was blessed with a beautiful environment, a family that supported his dream, and he went on to become one of the finest batsmen of the world. But imagine now that he had the talent, he had the skills, but he did not have the right environment. He could not have followed his swadharma. He would have been successful in doing business or something, but he wouldn't have been happy. So our talents and our skills, they can provide us success, but they cannot provide us happiness. I'll share another example with you. People who followed their swadharma, but they could not direct that energy. They could not direct that happiness towards a higher self, and it became a disaster. So let's say these popular people like Elvis Presley, he was the king of pop at his times. Michael Jackson, one of the most famous personalities of the universe during his times. They had everything which we all are chasing for. They had the fame, they had the money, they had the wealth, they had influence over people, they had the power, they had the talent, they had the environment also so that they could follow their talents, and they became so successful, they were so popular, but they were not happy. If you see their biographies, and see their life behind closed doors, you will find how fragile they were because they got attached to the acknowledgement what their job was giving, that acknowledgement from people. They got addicted to it, and to just maintain that high of life, they had to dive into alcohol and drugs, because it's not easy to maintain an emotional high. You cannot always be excited throughout your life, but you can be happy throughout your life. So this is the difference between enjoyment and being happy. Enjoyment you derive from things outside of yourself, and happiness is a state which is within ourselves. So remember, as I said again, talent and skills can give us success, but it cannot give us happiness. Happiness is a state which we have to cultivate for ourselves. So we should all understand that it's our consciousness which determines our attitude and our temperament. Our consciousness is the only thing which we carry with ourselves from our past life, and that is the only thing which we will carry in our next life. So nurturing your consciousness, nurturing your awareness is actually the main purpose of our life. And that we can do by simply raising our energies, by simply doing good action, by simply doing every action which makes us happy. When we are happy, our energies are always traveling up, and that energy changes our consciousness. It helps us to evolve and grow as people, and that's the reason of our soul journey. So understand, life either educates us or entertains us. So when life wants to educate us, it gives us challenges, it gives us certain obstacles so that we learn and grow from there. And when life entertains us, it's because of certain past good karmic actions that life gives us opportunities, it gives us easy life, and it gives us gifts of life. So today we'll understand why challenges come, what is the purpose of every challenge coming our way, and how we can overcome these challenges by creating an attitude for ourselves. And secondly, at the end of the podcast, I'm going to share with you 3 skills or 3 techniques which can help you develop a very strong positive attitude. It will help you develop, secondly, a very strong positive magnetism, which helps you to attract things to your lives, opportunities and people to live a beautiful life. And third is how to create a very positive and a strong environment for yourself, which will support your dreams, which will support your swadharma. And we can learn these things because these are simple techniques and very practical applications, which I'll share in the end. So stick till the end. So now let's talk about a project. We all would have seen that movie, the Mission Mangal. It was on a project, a space project, which was called the Mangalyaan. And if you will see, I love these movies and I watch them over and over again. And then I realized that these movies are not about the subject, but about the entire journey of how they reach that goal. You see that movie and again and see how many challenges they faced, Firstly, they did not have the money to accomplish such a big mission, and they had to think out of the box. All those scientists went out of their comfort zone, learned more, and came out with solutions. And if you will see, it were those challenges which made that mission a success, and it became the first Asian mission to reach Mars in its maiden attempt, and that too at the lowest cost. So the challenge was they did not have the money to accomplish that mission, and the challenge became the stepping stone which made that first mission, and it's a record, to reach Mars at such a low cost. So always remember, every challenge which comes into our lives, it comes for a certain reason, and that reason is our own growth, our own development. It helps us to push us out of our comfort zones, and we have to learn certain lessons. Until the time we don't learn those lessons, those challenges will remain. So accept all challenges and try to convert them into opportunities. And I will show how to do that once we go forward. So we all have different types of challenges, and they come to us at different stages of our lives. And we can categorize them into 3 categories. Firstly, we have direct challenges. Now, direct challenges which come to us directly for ourselves. They are challenges related to our financial conditions, our job, our education, in which only we are involved. And at this stage or in this challenge, we have to put in all the effort. We have to upskill ourselves, learn certain new skills or learn certain new ways of doing things. And only once we've learned our lessons, that we will be able to overcome those challenges. Then we have indirect challenges. Now, in these challenges, there is us and one more person involved, and these challenges are relationship-based challenges, relationship challenges with our partners, our bosses, our colleagues. And again, we have to learn certain lessons. Those lessons are how to understand the point of view of other person, how to drop our own ego and to give that person that respect and that space and try to think by being in their shoes. It also helps us to learn certain lessons and how to really navigate between people and, make them like a team for ourselves. And then there are third kind of challenges, challenges on which we have no control. And these are karmic challenges, Sometimes we are born with certain emotional and psychological problems. We are born with certain temperaments like anger, irritation, jealousy, hatred. And these challenges are so difficult to overcome, They are so deeply engrossed in our nature. They become part of our nature and we don't even know where is the problem or how to solve that problem. Then we also face challenges such as a loss in business, burglary, fire, an accident, a disease, an illness. Again, there is no reason, we were not involved directly in that, but those challenges come. What can we do about some things? Cribbing, complaining or crying will not help, What we can do is we simply accept those challenges and build a life from there. So all these challenges, when they come, the sole purpose of these challenges is it helps us to grow as a person. It helps us to overcome our fears. And it helps us to burn the seeds of our past karmic actions. So accept them, embrace them, and work from that level. Okay, so now let's understand why challenges come to our lives. So first reason, they are direct challenges which come for our own growth, for our own learning. Let's say for example, how our parents, when they wanted to teach us how to walk or how to cycle, they knew that in the process we will fall. We will get hurt, but then they did not stop there. They let us fall, they let us get hurt so that we learn, we become more confident, we learn our lessons and we get out of the fear of cycling or we get to walk on our own. And this is what God does, When He wants us to grow, He wants us to go through the journey of life, He will send some challenges to us so that we push ourselves to learn new skills. And those learnings, those education of ourselves is what raises our energy, it raises our consciousness and our awareness. So whenever a challenge comes, you cannot say that I will wait for this challenge to go away and then I'll create an action. Understand that challenge has come to teach you a lesson, and till the time you don't learn your lesson, till the time you don't become bigger than that challenge will remain. It will not go away. As Einstein said, that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking which you had when you created that problem. So when a challenge comes, think about it, why the challenge has come. Introspect on what it is trying to teach you. What lessons do you need to learn, whether you need to upskill yourself or whether you need to learn certain attitudes. And only once you've learned that attitude, only then you can overcome that challenge. So this is the first reason why challenge comes. It comes for our own growth. So the second reason why challenges comes to us is because it's God's way of helping us on a journey towards self-realization. So we need to learn certain spiritual lessons, certain spiritual qualities we need to develop. And these are, we need to develop patience. We need to learn to surrender. We need to be more receptive, flexible, and we need to develop faith. Now, these are not passive actions, these are very, very dynamic actions. Let's say, when you are sure of certain results, I've put in my 100% and now the result should be in my favor. But something happens and things don't turn out the way you had planned for yourself. It's that point of time that you realize that there is a power higher than yourself, which is at work, And this is how you learn your first lesson of surrender. When God sends you a challenge like that, which is way out of your control, then you understand that what you can do is you can only give your 100%. You can do your best and you surrender the result to God. That's what is taught in Nishkam Karma in Bhagavad Gita, when it says that do not get attached to the results of your actions. Because the moment you get attached to the results of your action, you'll always see that you become very tensed about your present actions. Because sometimes the results of your actions is really not in your hands. What your job is to give your 100% and leave the rest. And God knows the best for you. He knows when you have to get the results and when you will be ready. He's just testing you. And from this, we learn the second lesson, which is patience. Now, patience is such a strong virtue, as I explained it in the stories. Whenever you have faith, you have patience and perseverance, you can really conquer any goal which you've set for yourselves. And, so patience, once you develop patience, so patience with God is called faith. Patience with your elders is called respect. Patience with your partners or friends is called love. And patience with your own self is called self-confidence, or it's got trust. So if you don't really have patience, trust me, any amount of skill, any amount of knowledge will really not help you. It's patience which takes you all the way till the end. And that patience, when combined with faith in that higher power, is what makes your action perfect. And third, challenges also come because of the law of karma. And law of karma is simple. As you sow, so shall you reap. So if you do good, you will receive good. And if you do bad, you will receive equal pain and suffering. So many times when we don't understand why certain things happen in our life, why we meet with an accident, why we suffered certain losses for no fault of ours, why we got sick or ill or certain diseases come to us, it's because of our past actions. Complaining, cribbing or crying will really not help you at that point of time. It will only add to your misery. But if we have these 4 qualities which we learned through our previous example, if we have patience, we have faith, we have determination, perseverance, trust me, we can change our attitude and we can change our reality. 2 examples again I want to give here. They're right in front of us. One is Arunima Sinha. There's still not a movie made on her, but there's a book. It's called Born Again on the Mountaintop. So Arunima Sinha, she was a 17-year-old girl and she had found her Swadharm. She wanted to play volleyball. She was good at it. And she was traveling from Meerut to Delhi for her selections. And in the middle of a night, some robbers entered the train and they stole everything which she had. And in that scuffle, they actually pushed her out of the moving train. And that accident, actually she lost both of her legs in that accident. And from there on, she really didn't succumb to those circumstances, those situations, cribbing, complaining or crying to God. For some reason, she made a mission of her life to scale the Mount Everest. And 18 months from there, with her perseverance, her dedication and her hard work, she became the second female amputee in the world to scale the Mount Everest. And I saw her TED talk and she said, I don't know, I went through such a horrific time at that point of time, but I'm thankful in a way for those times, because today where she is, it's because of those challenges. She did not give up. Otherwise, she would have been there in a government job after playing volleyball. But those challenges, she converted them into an opportunity, and now she's an educator. She runs foundation. She's scaled almost 7 highest peaks of the world, and she's such an inspiration. Another story is of Shrikant Bhola. He was born blind. You see that movie, a beautiful movie. Again, you'll see every time Shrikant Bhola faced challenges, he did not give up. He wanted to pursue science. And as an Indian system, science is not allowed for students on 11th and 12th grade, especially when they are blind. He fought the entire system, and he just did not open the door for himself, but he opened the door for everyone who wanted to pursue science. And he's a highly successful business person now. He's like every ordinary businessman, and also he's earned certain awards. So I'm not saying we can be like them. I know they've really overcome so many challenges, but they explain us 2 things. Firstly, we can be inspired by them. And secondly, they tell us the qualities of the 4 things of perseverance, faith, determination, and surrender of all your actions, what these qualities can do for you. So now that we understand these 3 reasons why challenges come to us, firstly, they help us on our own growth, on our own development. Secondly, that's God's way of helping us on a path of self-realization. And thirdly, they come because of our past karmic actions. And if we have the right attitude, we have the right qualities, really, they are not obstacles. They can be converted into opportunities. Yes, we will have to put in a lot of energy. We will have to put in a lot of effort. We'll have to move out of our comfort zones, and we can do that. And there are certain skills which you can develop. And I will take you very briefly on these skills. And in future, for your information, I will be doing a program. I'll be talking about these skills in detail there. I will have a one-to-one session with you, also explaining you how to inculcate all these qualities in your daily life. Very practical tools and technique. So now let me share with you those 3 skills which I was talking about. And I'm going to take you very briefly through those 3 skills which we need to develop a very positive attitude, an attitude of saying yes to life. And for your information, in future, I am creating a workshop. I'm creating a program where we will deep dive into all these qualities, how to develop them, and it'll be like a workshop, and we'll share the information as soon as it's ready. So for now, the first skill is to develop a positive attitude. And we can do that by firstly doing a gratitude journal. You all would have heard of, and I'll tell you the power of that gratitude journal. So everyone has challenges, they have opportunities. List down everything positive in your life, starting with your family, your situations, your schooling, your education, whatever is there positive, your friends, your support system. Write down everything. Some people have a really challenging life, but if you are seeing this podcast and the very fact you have an intellect that you want to change your life, that intellect in itself is a very positive thing. Write it down that I am aware, because awareness precedes change. If you're not even aware that there is a problem, you will never like to change yourself. So the first thing is thank God for everything positive which you have. And then write everything positive that you need to have in your life. Keep going through these lists. And every night before sleeping, go back to your gratitude journal and just write down something positive which you faced in your day. Every time you write, you're actually thanking God in a way for that positive thing. And trust me, as you progress, those pages will start filling faster. Okay. Second is, go on a negative fast. I do that very often. I try to do that. Take one of the days and tell yourself that I will not be negative throughout the day. I will not crib, I will not complain, I will not get irritated on anything. And by the end of the day, if you're able to accomplish, you will see a shift in your energy, and that shift will be so strong, and that shift is what will create a very positive magnetism in your life. Secondly, we need to develop positive magnetism. This is the second tool I'm talking about. And for that, we need to develop a very strong flow of energy, because energy is the link between our thoughts and our action. Secondly, we need to develop our willpower, because the will is our regulator which controls the flow of our energy. When we are enthusiastic, how there is an automatic flow of energy. And thirdly, we need to develop concentration, which is the key to be successful in every undertaking. And this energy, will and concentration is what creates magnetism. And magnetism is the power to attract everything in our lives. This is the second tool. And the third tool is to create a positive environment for ourselves, to have everything positive in our life, which is really within our control, to have positive and people who really support us and people who inspire us. A positive environment of the books and things that we consume, a positive scroll of our Instagram accounts, follow everything which is positive and avoid everything which is toxic and negative in your life. It can be people, it can be accounts, it can be things which you see and consume, the movies which you see. Make everything positive, because trust me, environment is stronger than your willpower. So remember these three things, and as I said, we'll go deeply into this in the workshop. And once you develop these skills, it will transform your attitude. And once you transform your attitude, trust me, you will look at the life with a very different perspective. And then every challenge which will come into your life, it has come for a reason. And all those reasons are your own growth. You will accept that challenge. You will embrace that challenge. You will tell that challenge, oh, I think you've come and a new chapter is about to be unfolded in my life. And when you look at those challenges like this, really, those challenges become stepping stones to your success. So if you are facing any challenge which I've not covered in this podcast, really write down to me. You can just write down the challenge and I'll connect you on email or somehow and really try to give you certain tools which will help you overcome these challenges. If we can say yes to life from the center of our being, from our heart, from our mind, from all our feelings and all our energies, if and only if we can say yes to life without mixing every yes with a no or a maybe, our power of accomplishment can be far greater than what we could have ever imagined for ourselves. So I hope you found this episode interesting and inspiring enough. And if you found it, please share it with your friends and family. And in the end, take care, be inspired, stay positive, and keep shining. This is Dhruv from The Conscious Way. Take care and be well.